Did you know Melina Juergens, who played Senua in Hellblade, it was her first ever acting role, and she went on to win many awards. You're listening to the Xbox Hub Podcast, the official podcast of the TheXboxHub.com. For all the latest Xbox news, reviews, videos, and opinions, make sure you visit the TheXboxHub.com. But for now, settle down, get comfy, and open your ears for some podcast delights. Hello, welcome to the Xbox Hub Official Podcast, episode 199. My name is Gareth Bradley. I'm going to be your host. And on my virtual left is Mr. Darren Edwards. How you doing, Darren?
Hello, yes, good evening. A bit tired after the late night election drama, but hanging on in there. Good. So very well, all things considered.
Good. And on my virtual right is Mr. Paul Renshaw. How you doing, Paul?
Hello, Gareth. I've just had the weirdest feeling of deja vu. I don't know. It's almost like I'd heard Darren say those words before.
I know, he's very good at it as well. It's like an actor. It's great. Good. And on my virtual opposite is Mr. Richard Dobson. How you doing, Richard?
Hello. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Oh, very nice, Richard. You sound very calm then. I like it after these two. Yeah, it's nice.
I'm perfectly calm, thank you. After the midterm elections.
I'm a bit excitable, so apologies in advance.
We have had, just to let people know, might not know, we've had local elections in this country that happened last night, and they're still happening. The results are still coming in. So, Darren, let's talk about your week. How's your week been? What have you been doing?
So it won't surprise you to know, stayed up quite late last night to follow all the local election drama. Being a journalism graduate, I can't hide away from my geeky hobbies, which one of them is politics. So yeah, it's great. Tories are getting annihilated. Next question. No, on a serious note, I did more than that. So I don't know if you've heard of Shudder, which is a streaming service. I think it's attached to Amazon Prime, but that film Late Night with the Devil was uploaded on there, and I missed it at the cinema, so we gave that a watch, and it was really, really good.
And Mr.
Really well done.
Richard Dobson, he recommended it to us last week, and I've seen it as well. I think Richard saw it at the cinema. Is that right, Richard?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I loved it.
I loved it as well. Very good. Very good. So there you go. So you're a happy man. You watch the elections all night. Happy. We won't go into any detail, of course, because we're apolitical on this podcast.
Yeah, right.
We have veterans,
liberal lefties.
Well, we know where Paul's politics are, as I firmly place him on the right. Paul, how's your week been?
Until last night, it was all right. I didn't even dare go on Twitter last night, just in case Darren was posting as he went along. But
I was there.
The highlight of my week so far has been going to the National Cyber Security Show at the NEC on Tuesday. That was very exciting, going to see all of the people talking about cyber security and how everybody's trying to steal everything. And so, yeah, it was lots of fun. Got some new contacts, got some new people to chat to about all this. So, yeah, it's another string to my bow now. I'm now a cybersecurity expert. Ask me anything.
Paul, can I recommend a podcast to you? You might have listened to it already, and I think you'll like it because it's all about this. It's called The Lazarus Heist. It's a BBC podcast. It's all about North Korea's connection with hacking, and it talks about cyber conferences as well. It's very good.
Oh, fantastic.
I think you might like it.
I'll give that. Are you in it?
I'm not in it. No, I'm listening to it. I think I've got 2 seasons. I'm on season 2, but I think you'll like it, especially if you went to that.
I'll have it. I could just see you playing the part of Kim Jong-un.
Moving on to Richard. How's your week been, Richard?
I don't know how to top that. We had our second wedding anniversary in Whitby the weekend just gone. Tried to book hotels there for a few weeks, but realising it just wasn't any. And then it suddenly clicked and occurred to us that it was because it was the goth weekend there as well.
Yeah.
So we inadvertently were a part of it all at Whitby this weekend. Had an absolutely brilliant time. Met a lot of interesting and quirky people, but everyone's just so down to earth and lovely. Yeah, we had a really good time. Laura was in charge of booking the restaurants and stuff and where we could fit in. She made some really good choices. Ended up in a tapas bar that had 4 tables in, and then it was full, and hugging the restaurant owner at the end of the meal because he was again another unique individual, but we were just chatting to him for ages and ended up spending a bit of time with him. Just had a really, really nice weekend there.
Oh, I like Whitby a lot. I love Whitby.
Yeah,
it's a great place. Good. That's why you're so calm, Richard. You got that calm. He's had a great time. All's good with the world.
I can't believe it's been 2 years already. It only seems like the other day that we were at your reception. So
2 years ago, you were handing my now wife a box of cocktail sausages.
Oh, God,
I feel like you should give some context to that. It's not just a randomly turned up with a...
Don't, Richard. You don't need to give context.
That is the context. That's literally what happened.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
I never leave home without them.
That's like something
Fucking
Bob
me.
Mortimer
Yeah.
said, would I lie to you, Paul?
Good. This week I've been busy, but I went on a speed awareness course because I broke the law on Monday.
Brilliant.
So I was there. I did that, and it's good. Speed awareness course is a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing to kind of like educate you, learn some new stuff. But there's always someone in there who goes, "I watched Jeremy Clarkson's, and he doesn't believe in the." You go, "Why are you shouting? Why are you saying stuff?" They're not going to change the law because you just said something. You're speaking to the wrong people.
Did you stand up and say that?
I knew all of us were going to like going, just nod your head and go along with it. Yeah. But he kept popping up.
Minutes.
Any more questions? Yeah, I've got a question. Oh, shut up. Yeah.
I'm surprised a man in the public eye such as yourself didn't get somebody to go for them or have a private speed awareness course.
Oh, yeah, I could have done that, like Brotherman.
Could have done, old Suella.
Yeah.
Or Cruella or whatever she's called.
Yeah, it's gone well for her. Right, let's carry on into games, what we've been playing.
It's a good job we're not political.
No, we're not at all. Let's start with Darren. What's your first game? We're going to do 2 each.
So my first game is a game called Slave Zero X. So I didn't realise until I had a little look into it that this is actually a sequel to a game called Slave Zero that was released, I want to say, around the year 2000. And how it works is it's essentially a side scroller, hack and slash, but you can progress through the level, but it keeps the side scrolling perspective. So as you turn a corner, the whole screen like pivots on a 90-degree angle, and then you carry on, and then you'll get ambushed by waves of enemies as you go. And there's a very loose story. To be fair, I kind of lost track of the story a little bit through it, but there's a very loose story there where you're essentially trying to take down this false god who runs this city, and a lot of the city is in poverty. A lot of it is slums, and people are just kind of doing what they can to survive. So in terms of the mechanics of fighting, it's actually quite easy to get to grips with, but then it's quite challenging to pull off all the special moves as well. So you're equipped with like a katana sword, and then you've got a few projectiles you can chuck as well, like little incendiary grenades and stuff. So you can do all your standard moves, but just spamming the normal moves won't guarantee success, which is quite good because you've got to build what's called a break meter, and then if you hit that, it'll push your enemies away the force field and then charge what's called like a fatal I can't remember what it's called now, but it's basically a power up, and it's a limited time where you can basically do everything at times 10 speed. So if you master that circle and keep powering up those special abilities, then it's quite manageable. If you fail to do that in the later levels, it does get quite tricky, but you can change the difficulty anywhere from easy to nightmare, but I played it on standard, and that was absolutely enough of a challenge for me. So it was about 5 or 6 hours, and it was a bit repetitive, because essentially you are just slashing away at enemies as you go through. But I quite enjoyed it. I thought it wasn't too long, so I was definitely done by the time I got to the end of the story. But yeah, for what it was, I thought it was pretty good, to be fair. The only downside is I think it's about 20 quid, so it's not exactly I'll take a punt on it. It's quite expensive, but if that's your type of thing, then you can't go far wrong.
There we go. Slave 0x. Good. Let's go to Paul. Paul, what have you got?
I'm going to go with my second choice first and save the first game for a big finale. So the second game I've been playing this week was called Glorious Saviour, and it's the latest in a very, very, very long line of Kemco RPGs. Now, just for a change, it's retro styled, it's JRPG in fashion, and basically it's a group of people trying to save the world, but this time it involves time travel as well. Now, obviously, I'm not going to go into the story too much because we don't want to spoil it if you're going to play it out there. But the one thing that I will say about this game is that every RPG has kind of random battles in it. As you walk around, monsters jump out and get you, and you have to fight them. The random battles in this game are so frequent. It's like every 10 seconds you're fighting. And it just gets really, really grindy, and it feels a chore to play, which is a shame because the story is quite good, but it's just the execution is dreadful. So, yeah, it's not one of the ones I've enjoyed more of the Kemco back catalogue, I'm afraid. So, yeah, there's much better ones out there if you want to play an RPG. So, Glorious Saviour. The review, I believe, is live on the site now, and I think I gave it a 3.
Okay.
So yes, one to avoid there, I'm afraid.
Okay, good. Any questions for Paul on his Kemco game? Nothing.
Nope.
Nothing. We'll move on. We're getting through. This is good.
Nobody cares, Gareth. Nobody cares.
No, they don't. Richard, you've got something to care about?
I hope so. Yeah, Dead Island 2 Solar, the latest DLC for Dead Island 2. Now, I really enjoyed Dead Island 2 last year. I enjoyed the first DLC that came out at the end of last year, but this one is probably the weakest part of it for me. I don't know whether it's because there's a bit of fatigue setting in that for 35 hours I've just been hacking away at the undead, or whether this just is a bit of subpar additional content. But basically, the Solar is a festival in the world of Dead Island 2, and obviously, as zombies have come into LA, someone in this festival has realised that if they play a certain beat, it will also transform the people at this festival into zombies. And I don't know whether I'm thinking this is a bit far-fetched now, even in a world where there's zombies, that they can just be transformed by listening to a certain beat or what. But I felt like the story was really poor for this one. It was a case of you go to this festival, find out that the weird things are happening. There's a woman that's shacked up in this only like safe area in the very middle of this festival, and she just sends you on these errands, basically going back and forth, destroying these specialized speakers that are pumping out this unique sound. The only really good thing about this DLC was that it introduced a couple of new zombie types. So one of them is called the Whipper, I think, if I remember rightly. And that basically is a zombie that uses its own intestines as like a whip to attack you with. It's got some really like interesting area of effect attacks that have not really been in Dead Island 2 to up until this point. So it was sort of changing how you fought these zombies. And there's one, like the big bad zombie at the end of it is called the Dirge, and it's sort of it's probably the best baddie in the Dead Island series for me. And it will just keep popping up at random points, almost like a Mr. X or a Nemesis in the Resident Evil games. Obviously, you're not in these tight corridors so much in an open festival, open world. But it's interesting to see it just pop up and then you get a big warning on screen to say, do not attack because it's invincible. All you need to do is run, basically. So it's just changing things up a little bit from what's predominantly been running about with reckless abandon, hacking away at zombies. So yeah, it was a bit of a mixed bag really for me. But I think I gave it 3 stars in my review.
Okay.
And in a way, I'm quite glad that I'm finished with Dead Island 2 as well.
I'm playing through the first one at the moment on the Game Pass, and I'm quite enjoying myself. It's good fun. It's good in little bursts. It looks good. It's a very good looking game.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, really good.
No question about that.
Yeah. Good. Dead Island 2 DLC. We'll chat a little bit about DLC in a bit. I'm going to talk about... Did I talk about Tales of Kanzera? I talked about me going to the event, didn't I? But I didn't tell you about the game itself reviewed.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's correct.
I think I reviewed it a couple of weeks ago. It's a really good game. It's a Metroidvania game. Good combat, great story, got a lot of heart to it. By the creators, there's a kind of the dialogue, but the actors is brilliant between the two kind of characters. It's like a story within a story. You're in this kind of modern Afroculture futuristic city, and your father's just died, and then you tell a story of a mystical land about a young person going out whose father also died, and then tries to team up with the god of death, and they like almost double up, and they try to get his father's soul back. So this is all kind of emotional journey, but at its heart, it's a Metroidvania game. When you're got combat modes. You've got 2 masks, one mask of sun, one mask of moon. Gives you different abilities. One has got a more melee attack. The other one has a more you throw things. What's that called? Throw things attack.
Range
attack. Good. And and then the rest of it is kind of like traps and everything. So you're sort of bouncing, platforming everywhere else. You can see areas that you can go to later on when you gain more skills. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. It's a kind of tight thing, but the main problem I talked about in the review is there was a game that came out in January, which was the Prince of Persia game, which feels quite similar because of the genre, but also it does a lot more and has a lot more kind of tricks up its sleeve. There would probably be a lot more budget, and it's a longer game, a bigger story. So you're always comparing it with that. I think that's the problem because they're so a couple of months apart. But if you want to have a go, I think it's free on PlayStation if you've got the on the package thing, the Game Pass equivalent on PlayStation. It's really worth it. I really enjoyed it. There we go.
Excellent.
Good. Let's go around again. Darren, what's your second one?
Make the song go, isn't
it? My second one is, I think you pronounce it Scare Ritual. And if I remember correctly, you reviewed the first game, Gareth, which was Made of Scare a few years ago.
Yeah.
So this is a different style to that game. So that was survival horror, from what I understand. This is more of a round-based shooter where you've got enemies that kind of just populate the area and you've got to take them down. And they'll come in waves. And the first waves are easy to deal with, and they'll gradually get more and more difficult. So there's 4 different maps or missions, if you like. And as you play through each one of them, you are led through by having to complete different objectives. So it might be destroy 4 power generators or charge up this or whatever it might be. But the thing is that although you're not against the clock as such, it gets more and more difficult because you've got more and more waves of enemies that are kind of bearing down upon you. So in terms of how it plays, it's pretty standard kind of FPS really. So you'll start off with a very basic weapon, but as you kill enemies, you'll get points. But for some reason, it's represented as pounds on the screen, but they call it points, so it's the same thing, but you use that to purchase new weapons. You can upgrade weapons, you can also replenish. You've got, again, a bit like the last game, little projectiles you can chuck at the enemies. So some of them will freeze the enemy, stun them, set them on fire. It all depends on your pickups as you go. The interesting thing is you have unlimited of those, but they have a cooldown period. So it's just all about how you manage the waves of enemies and you plan your route as you play through the scenario. And that's the same with your health pack, if you like, as well. You can heal yourself, but that's got a cooldown too. So you can play solo and you can play with friends, or there is online matchmaking as well, and cross-play is enabled with Steam, I believe. I found it more enjoyable to play online. I thought even on the normal difficulty, solo was really challenging to get to the end of the mission, especially because I found it quite difficult to figure out what to do at certain stages. And I don't know if that was just me being daft, but it wasn't overly obvious. You'd have a waypoint that would direct you to the area, but then you would be frantically looking around for a lantern for 5 minutes as you're constantly getting set upon by all these horrible zombies and stuff. So definitely playing with others I found much more enjoyable, because if you die, you can revive yourself once, and then if you die again, that's kind of it. But you can save up your money to buy life tokens as well from like a special little vendor. So all in all, it's quite fun. I think there are only 4 scenarios and it's about 20 quid. But if you buy a special edition, you get another 4. And I think it's only about another 6 or 7 quid. But it's quite shallow in terms of the gameplay. So it's just shooting stuff, really. So it depends how much you'd enjoy that. I think you'd enjoy it, Paul. It's... the other thing that I kind of was a bit undecided on was how it looked. I don't know how to describe it, but it looked very much like it had come from PC, but from like 10 years ago, if that makes sense. Like, it was quite jagged, it was quite rough. It crashed on me at one point. It just felt like it hadn't been ported over with the love and attention it needed. But the good news was the matchmaking was slick. It was easy. I found games across all the different maps. So I don't know how long that's going to last for, because it's not on Game Pass, I don't think, either. So yeah, it's a cool setting, kind of like World War I England as well. So if you like shooters and you like shooting a lot of zombies, then that could be a good one to look for.
Just to put me off. I just don't know what. It's so weird to kind of change genre like that suddenly. And
it's completely different.
Yeah.
The story starts off from what they call the evil ending at the end of Made of Sker, which I'm guessing is the canon one, how it should go. And then, there's no real continuation of the story. It's just all these mini missions that take you through each location.
And did you just say it's £20, but then you could pay £6 to get 4 more scenarios?
From what I saw on the store page, I think it's around 20, and then it's around 26, 27. But you get 4 more maps to play as well.
Right, okay.
Because the problem is if you play them from start to finish and know what you're doing, it might take you half an hour. There's only 4 of them. So I guess you've got to ask yourself the question, how much replayability is there if you're just playing the same map through again and again?
Yeah.
I feel like it could probably do with a little bit more. I mean, what it does try to do is there's loads of different customization options. So you can it's like a season pass system, but you don't have to pay for any of it. It's all free. You just unlock it as you gain XP for playing. So it does try to keep you coming back in that sense, and you can upgrade like your character stats. So you can upgrade your max health, reload speed. So there's permanent upgrades as well as upgrade you pick up during each run, if that makes sense. They're called miracles. So every time you take out a wave, you'll get to upgrade. It might be your weapon, your stats, your projectiles, etc. So each run, as I'm calling them, does vary slightly, but not enough to keep me playing for hours and hours on end.
Okay, good. I'm not going to be playing that, but yeah. Let's go to Paul for his last game. Paul, what have you got?
My last game is it's very, very good. I really enjoyed playing it, and it's called Another Crab's Treasure. And basically, it's a cute-looking almost, you'd look at it and think, oh, this is a kid's game. But it's basically a Souls-like with kiddie graphics, and it is properly hard, properly challenging, but really, really good. I've loved every minute of playing it. The review's live on the site now. I gave it a 4 because the camera gets quite confused quite quickly if you're in a small area trying to fight. And also there was an issue with sometimes you fall through the floor and stuff. But for a game that's sort of come out of nowhere, really, and has gone straight onto Game Pass, it's incredibly good. You like a Souls-like, don't you, Gareth?
I do. I've played a bit of it. Yeah, I like it.
Have
it's good.
you? Yeah. Did you enjoy it?
I did. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
It's very challenging, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
To say that it's as cute as it looks.
Yeah. Oh
you'd
God.
think, it's properly hard. But the good thing is the developers have decided that people who play Souls-likes obviously need a bit of help. So there's a full set of assists that you can turn on and off and tweak to help you play the game. This range, wow. Yeah, you go into the options and it's under assists.
Right. Okay.
Basically, the range from you can make your shell a bit more durable, or you can give the enemies, make them do less damage, for instance. And then at the other end of the scale, you get given a gun, and it's a one-shot kill on anything, any boss, whatever you like. So you'll see a lot of the streamers doing it, and they're just running around with this gun on the back, and anything that comes near them, they just shoot it.
Wow.
So that just removes the challenge completely. But I mean, I've did the review last week, I think, or start of this week, and I've just finished the game today. So yeah, it's kept me playing that long, and now I'm going back and looking for all the stuff that I've missed. So yeah, another Crab's Treasure, very, very good. And since it's on Game Pass, it's a complete no-brainer. If you like a Souls-like, you've got to try it.
Good. There you go. Yeah, give it a go. Richard, your last one.
I jumped back into Fallout 4 with the current gen update for Xbox Series X and wrote a review on it. I'm a big fan of Fallout 4. I think when I checked my stats when I installed the new update, I think I was about 175 hours for it. And last bit I did was the Nuka World DLC. So when I first started it, there I was just having finished that DLC. So I kept exploring that area a little bit more, and I came across a little mansion to the south called, I think it's called the Grantchester Memorial Mansion, something like that. And I never knew about this thing because it wasn't listed in the main quest list for this DLC, so it just happened upon it. And then it was like this half an hour guided tour around this mystery house with this voiceover for each room that you went in, of explaining like how there was these creepy parents, but then they had creepy kids, and it was all this back and forth going on there. But then whilst all this was going on, there were booby traps in this mansion. So you're wandering through it, and then you get to the top room, and spoilers, but there's a guy there who's sort of made this creepy mansion his home, and he keeps hearing these voiceover, and he's like, no, I've never seen anything like any creepy business going on. But every time I was in VATS in this mansion, there was a little girl peeping out through. You just like get glimpses of her. So you end up killing this guy, and then you can go up to the loft because he's dropped the key that gets you up to the loft. And then you get up to the loft and you see this girl run across the screen into this door. And then when you open this door, it's just a brick wall behind it.
No.
And I thought, it's absolutely brilliant. Like, this is just there in this DLC that I've never seen before. I've not seen any mention of it or anything like that. I just happened upon it. And it was like this half an hour, 40 minutes experience in Fallout 4, and I just thought, yeah, this is why I love Fallout so much for moments like this. Then I went off, did a bit more of it, but it was the current gen patch itself is all right. I mean, there's a few new bits added that's come over from the Creation Club, so there's not massive amounts of new stuff, which I guess is okay. I was perhaps a bit disappointed that there wasn't any new achievements, because on the PlayStation 5 version you've got an entirely new achievement list, for example.
Right.
There was just the quests that were added in were fairly generic. Go here, kill someone, collect their loot. Or it's new stuff that's been added into the game, basically. The performance mode is very confusing, because it says if you play without performance mode on, you can get 4K at 30 frames per second. But with performance mode on, you can get 4K and up to 60 frames per second.
Oh, wow.
So it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's sort of worded differently from how every other game tends to do performance and quality modes now, and I think it's confused a lot of people. Actually, it's like, well, it's not working. It's clearly not working. It's like, well, if you read into it, it's not saying it's going to be 60 frames per second. It's saying it can go up to 60 frames per second.
Right.
But the reality is that it doesn't really. If you see what I mean.
Mm.
So it's sort of, it's covered their backs a little bit more, but it's got the backs up of a lot of gamers as well, unsurprisingly. Yeah, I mean, the current yeah, the current gen patch is fine, but it was just great to go back into this world, this wasteland, and see new things still.
Yeah. Wow. Good. I'd like to go back to that game. It's been a while.
I've just downloaded it again.
No, you can.
Going to try it again.
Yeah.
So
Well, apparently, physical copies were selling out because people were trying to get hold of it to play it on their consoles, which is interesting.
Wow.
it's on the back of the TV, on the Prime series, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good, to be fair.
I'm still holding off the last 2 episodes.
Oh.
Don't want it to
No,
end.
I've finished it now, Paul. It's very good.
It's very good.
We binged
Yes.
it. We loved it.
Yeah. Let's carry on. Let's talk about. We had an Xbox Digital Showcases this week on Monday. We won't talk too much about the showcase itself. We've seen Paul's comments in Discord. We don't want to upset ourselves and have court cases.
Can we talk about the presenter?
No, we're not going to talk about the
legal
presenters.
team.
Yeah, wow. We know you're not
Honestly.
happy with them. But we're going to just pick 2 games each, and just if we can, and we'll have a little chat about that first of all. Richard, what have you got? What's your first one to chat about?
Centum. I don't know why I've picked this now, because it looked brilliant, but I have to now explain what I watched in that trailer, and I have no idea. But all I know is that I watched it and I thought, this is mental. It looks absolutely balmy, but I'm really invested in it. It started off like a point and click adventure in a prison cell, but then I saw like the equivalent of Windows Explorer with different files opened and things like that, and I've just no idea how any of the images that I saw in this trailer fit together, but all I want to do is find out now.
It does look amazing.
Yeah, it's bizarre. I'm just trying to find what is said about it now.
Well, the description is, which is really good, you're a prisoner in a cell, you have to escape, but is that really the goal? Unreliable narrator. It challenges the game conventions. Yeah, it looks kind of... It sort of time shifts as well, doesn't it? And, yeah. It does.
Yeah, I think you've got 100 days to escape. But through surprising interactions, surrealist storytelling, and striking large-scale animated pixel art, it will take you on a mind-bending experience. I don't think there's a release date for it, but I'm just, really, really looking forward to that now.
It does look great. I'm really into that as well. Yeah. It reminded me of Loretta, which I gave 5 stars to recently. Had a kind of feeling of that.
Okay.
Good. That does look good. Darren, what about you? What's your first one?
So perhaps unsurprisingly, my first one is the Jackbox Naughty Pack, which I'm intrigued by because I'm normally the one who picks up the Jackbox games and I absolutely love them. We've played them for years, us and our group of friends whenever we get together. And I'm just intrigued to see what they're going to do. So they haven't revealed exactly what games are going to be in the pack, but it's going to be 3 games. So they released a similar sized pack with the best sellers or most well known a few months ago, I think last year. So there'll only be 3 again, apart from the usual 5 or 6. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see, because they're a very creative team over at Jackbox. I'm intrigued to see what they're going to do with it. I'm sure it's going to be more than just throwing in a load of swear words in there. So we only got treated to a very, very short teaser, unfortunately, which didn't reveal much at all. But they have made it clear that it's going to be their first mature rated game, as they say in America. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they reveal.
This is what they've said in their pack. It says, dim the lights and charge up your devices. You know which ones. Because here comes Jackbox Naughty Pack. Which I really like. Yeah, is it going to be like, wow, could be quite risque.
Phones, don't they?
Yeah, they do need a phone.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be referring to anything else. Yeah, the mind boggles. So I can't wait to see what they've got hidden up their sleeves, so to speak.
And nice at Darren's for Jackbox Naughty Pack. We're coming soon.
Yeah.
Good. Paul, what about you? What's your one you liked?
My first one will be, well, it's going to be, I'm going to just go back to games that I already love. Pal World is getting an expansion with new pals and new weapons from the trailer that we watched. So I'm quite excited by that. I really enjoyed playing Pal World when I did it for review. So, yeah, that's basically more of a good thing is always welcome.
Is it still in preview then, Pal World?
I believe it is, yeah. I haven't done the review. I've done a preview review, if you like. So, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's very popular, that game. And it's still there. It hasn't been taken off.
It still hasn't been sued by Nintendo. It's amazing. But, yeah.
It's quite incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, amazing. Good. Yeah, that does look good. Do we know when that's coming out, Paul? Did it say? I don't think we did.
No, I think it's this year, but I couldn't swear to it.
Okay. My one I really like is Dungeons of
June.
June. There you go.
Dungeons of June.
Dungeons of June. Dungeons of Hinterberg, which is coming out, I think, in July on Game Pass. I think it's got a date. July the 18th, it has. Dungeons of Hinterberg. It just looks really intriguing, this game. I don't know if anyone else thinks this. It's kind of a mixture of dungeon exploring, but it has puzzles in there. It has kind of social active sort of RPG elements to it. It just looks different. It looks like unlike anything I've seen, and has action and any social sin elements. It just looks really nice, and the visual look of it looks great, and it's come to Game Pass, and I'm quite excited about it. Anyone else excited about that? Nope.
Yeah, I think it looks good.
Thank you, Richard.
I think it looks good too.
Good. Thank you, Darren. Good. There we go. Dungeons of Hinterberg.
You left his dick together.
It's too woke. It's too woke.
There you
Paul.
are in the,
it's woke.
the wilderness, Paul.
I had someone. There was someone on GB News. I'm going to say this really briefly. Who was talking about Greggs. There was an article about Greggs being woke. No, the reason not Greggs has been woke. Greggs hasn't gone woke, so that's why it stayed in business. And it made me laugh.
A vegan sausage roll.
I know, but it made me laugh so much because every time I pass a Greggs, I take a picture and go, "Still not woke." And I pass it.
Brilliant.
It's a whole Twitter account in itself. You'll get thousands of people following if you do daily updates.
Still not woke.
Still not woke.
Still not woke.
Grief.
We're looking for that. We've gone round, haven't we? Let's go back. So go back around again to Richard. What's your second one?
I think we spoke about this before when it was on the PlayStation showcase things that they've done, but Humanity is coming to Xbox and Game Pass this month. So really looking forward to giving that a try because it looked the right kind of absurd, surreal, humor puzzler that I like anyway. And yeah, I missed it when it came out on PlayStation, but I never got around to giving it a try. But to see it come into Game Pass, I'm definitely going to give it a try now. I didn't realize that you were actually playing as the dog in this. I always just assumed you were trying to control the flow of the human traffic. But I didn't realize you were doing that as you were the dog.
Yeah.
Which just makes it even more surreal.
It's great. I played I think I must have played about an hour of it, and then I just got on to something else, and I just didn't. But I really enjoyed it. It got really hard, but it is like Lemons in a sense,
Yeah.
That's what you do, and it's really good. I mean, it looks great as well. That's great. This coming to Game Pass. I'm going to give that another go on there.
It says here as well that there's going to be some user-made puzzles on it as well. So expect some real challenging creations.
Good. Darren, what about you? What's your next one?
I would have chosen that one as well if I'd have been quicker to the punch, because I just think it looks like a crazy mix between Lemmings and, do you remember Cooler World from the PS1?
Oh, yeah.
Where you had to guide the ball around the kind of geometric mazes that were suspended in the air. Yeah, it looks great. The second one I chose was Pharaoh, the Sundered Tribes. So it just immediately caught my eye because it looked like an amalgamation of so many different types of games. And hopefully it doesn't turn out to be very similar, but it looked like a cross between kind of Horizon, Breath of the Wild, the Falconeer, all sorts of different Immortals as well. It reminded me of all sorts of different genres, and it's billed as an open world co-op survival crafting RPG. And you can go monster hunting, but then you can run like your own. It's like a colony sim as well. So it sounds like it's trying to be all sorts of different genres, which if they pull it off could be quite an impressive deep game. But I just love how it looks. I'm a sucker for any of that kind of cel shaded Legend of Zelda style visuals, so I'm really looking forward to it. And it's that classic kind of post-apocalyptic world set in, so hopefully you'll kind of start to find out what happened, and if it's got a good narrative to it, it could be a real hit, I think. So that's what I'm going to keep my eye on for sure.
Yeah, it does look great. We don't know a release date for that, 2024 though, but hopefully we get to see it. Good. It's me. God, that's come around. No, it's Paul. Paul, what's your second one?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Sorry.
Second one is I'm almost dreading it in a way. I've managed to break my addiction to Vampire Survivors. But now they're releasing even more new content to have a go at. So I'm just terrified that I'm going to relapse and just start playing that all the time again.
Oh, God.
There's a couple of packs, I believe, coming out, is there not? There's one that's out now, and then there's one that's coming in a bit, which involves people with guns, which is going to be even more exciting. I mean, the guys that they showed in the trailer kind of reminded me of the heroes from Contra, the game back in the day. So I don't know if it's a crossover between Vampire Survivors and Contra or not. But
I think there is a guest appearance.
Cool if it was, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought I can't wait to get stuck in again and lose my life. So yeah, because it's so addictive. It's ridiculous. It really is. For such a simple game, it just shouldn't grip you as hard as it does. So yeah, I'm looking forward to and dreading it in equal measure.
Yeah, I deleted mine. It's too addictive. I couldn't do it. It really was. Good. One last one before we go. We've got to move on. Is Lost Records is my last one, and that's by the Life is Strange team.
Yes,
I'm a big fan of theirs. I like their stuff. Really narrative led. Different story. I haven't got a release date for this yet at all. It doesn't look, not even this year. So I'm a big fan of their stuff. I think all their games so far. I like the way they kind of mix the kind of real world and kind of like fantasy stuff. So yeah, so I'll be really looking forward to that. Good. Now we've got to move on because that was that. But we've got to. It's that time of the month when it's the beginning of the month when we go for the this month on
a musical sting.
We do. It's this month on Xbox and Game Pass, and that we have an article on the site for you to have a look at, and we go through the games, and then we don't understand any of them, and we slag off. It's got so bad that Dave used to write the articles, then it was Gemma, she got so upset by us, now it's just Neil. So Neil's written the 9 new best. She hasn't really. 9 new best Xbox and Game Pass games to play in May. So we're just going to go through them. Any thoughts we have on them? If we recognise them at all, I think we're going to recognise all these. So number 1 on the list is the big one. It's Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. It's the top one.
Heard of it.
Never heard of it.
Senua who?
It's coming to Game Pass, of course. It was one of the first things we ever saw in the Xbox Series X trailers back in 2020. But before that. And it's coming on the 21st, I think. He hasn't put bloody release date. He does it on purpose. We got on here.
Waiting to see if he has.
Oh, it's unbelievable. And yeah, so that's coming. I mean, I'm really looking forward to this. I love the first game. We've talked about this before many times. But yeah, anyone else looking forward to this? We'll give this a go.
Absolutely. Yeah. They're doing a countdown on Twitter at the moment where every day they release a new image from the game. And the image for yesterday was it running on PC, but it was on the widest monitor you've ever seen. It looked like it was about 2.5 foot across. It was massive. So, but it looked absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
so,
it does.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be another good game. So, looking forward to that.
Really looking forward to that. If you haven't played Hellblade, it's still on the Game Pass, I think. So give that a go now before this one comes out. We know it. We recognise one. We like it. Next one, not so much. Moto GP 24. One of Paul's games. Paul's.
Get lost. No. I'll do racing games, but not on motorbikes. There's not enough wheels.
That's out soon, I think. Must be May. We don't know.
Now, I think.
Now. It's out now.
I think it's out now, yeah.
We're going to
be laugh that they sent us another code through, even though we still got the 23 one unclaimed.
Oh no!
Darren was meant to do that. You were meant to do that, Darren.
Listen, I've taken on another ship game, so I've got my title as reviewing ship games back on now.
There's no need for language like that.
Okay.
I made sure to pronounce the P.
I think Paul should do it.
Agreed.
No,
yeah,
I can't.
Yes,
I just can't.
But of course, there's going to be lots of new features in this and all sorts of things. Riders Market and MotoGP stewards, for instance. God, I don't know what that means. But it's good. That's out now. It looks good. Another one, the next one, third one on the list is Little Kitty, Big City. I think you might be doing this one, Darren. Are you meant to talk about it?
I couldn't possibly comment. All I can say is that it exists and it's got cats in it, so it's going to be amazing.
It does look good. I really like the look of this. Little open world playground. You're running around with a cat, little missions. It looks great. It's coming to Game Pass sometime. We would like to know, but we haven't got a date, of course. Good. Now,
I'll be able to talk about it next week. Let's say that much.
That's good. The next game, I spoke to Neil about this here. I don't think he knew about this for a while, so I said to him, I really want to do this game. I've had my eye on this game for a long time. Indica. Have you heard of Indica, you two? 3?
No.
Indica.
2?
3.
You're not talking.
I don't know who I was there.
You fell out.
I fell out. One of them. You have to work out which one it is. It's like Survivor. Right. We don't have an exact date for this, but it's coming out, I think, on PC maybe now, maybe on the 8th. But it's meant to be coming out in May. I think PlayStation have got a date for the 8th, but we'll see. But it's, if you go online, have a look at it had a demo for it. You basically play a nun. As you're in Russia, you're trying to run away from the devil. But it's weird. It's story-driven. It's weird and strange. That's a lot of things. It just looks right up my street. I love the look of it.
As soon as you went, you're a nun running away from the devil, I thought, this is a Gareth game.
Visually, it looks amazing as well.
Walking simulators.
You're walking away from the devil.
It looks good. This is my game of the year. So we'll see.
Already, blimey.
Hopefully we'll get that this month. The next one, these are good. We all know these games. It's great. Next one is Braid Anniversary Edition. Who remembers Braid when it came out on the 360?
I remember it, but
Did you play it?
I don't get it. I don't. Everybody says it's like the best game ever made, and I didn't get it. I didn't think it was that good.
There you go.
So this is not one I care about. I'm afraid.
Anyone else played it? You two?
I've got to agree with Paul on that one.
There you go.
As rare as that is, but
I never played it.
Stick with me, Dobbo. We'll have you voting blue in no time.
This is how they're going to do it one by one.
UK for?
How about what? Sorry.
Blues Reform UK these days, isn't it?
I've no idea, mate. I don't even know.
Braid. Back to Braid. It's coming mid-May. A lot of people loved it. Obviously, I mean, I think I'm the same as you two with it as well. I liked it.
No
I wasn't going mad about it. Yeah, I didn't. It's hard as nails as well. I remember that. Darren, have you played it?
No, I never did.
Oh, it's good.
Honestly.
You can review this one. It'd be good. So let's down for that.
on yours, Darren.
Should have seen that coming.
Done.
Walked right into that.
After you've done that motorbike game.
Oh yeah, nice try.
It does look beautiful. Some bits of it. Crow County is a game. Can I talk about it? I think I might be doing this, but that's all I can say. It's PlayStation 1 survival horror, but it's really nicely done. I can't say anything else, but it's you're sort of playing a detective trying to work out horror at an amusement park, and yeah, it looks. We'll talk about it next week, but yeah, that's another one we know about. Crown Wars: The Black Prince. Anyone know anything about this?
No, but I like the look of it from the description.
What is?
Because obviously I've done all my homework and read the article and everything. And it's like a tactical RPG with dark fantasy elements. So yeah, sounds like it'd be right up my street.
Right up your street, yeah. Good. Formula 1 24, Jesus.
There you go, Paul. 4 wheels. This is
that's you'd have to fight Neil for that one. I think he loves his Formula 1.
That's
so
coming out at some point.
He's welcome to it.
Who's anyone else a Formula 1 fan here of playing the games? I mean,
no, for the past few seasons.
No. Well, there's secret meetings. I don't know what that means. Circuit upgrades, a revamped career mode, secret meetings.
You don't know what a secret meeting is?
I love the fact that
have you never had a secret meeting?
What are they talking about in Formula 1 secret meeting? Are they talking about espionage on the other cars? That'd be good. I'd quite like that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Perhaps I'm not. I was going to make some kind of
I know where
topical
you're going.
joke there, but I'm going to leave it. I'm leaving it. Yeah,
leave it.
I don't think the Xbox Hub lawyers are up to it.
No.
I had the same thought flash my mind at exactly the same time as well.
I'll give you a secret meeting, love.
Oh dear, here we go. Here we go. So
move on quick.
Move on quick. Get the lawyers. The last one on here is, we've heard of all these games, is Pac-Man Mega Tunnel Battle Chomp Champs. I've said that all right.
Could you be any more excited about
I'm really excited about this, even though someone else is doing it. I didn't even put my name down for it. But Richard, can you talk about this yet? You can't, can you?
No, only that it's, if you imagine what Pac-Man would be as like a battle royal, 64 players, all competing on larger than life Pac-Man maps. Yeah, I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah,
but hopefully I'll be able to speak more about it next week, maybe. Think so.
Nothing has ever been made better by making it into a battle royale.
There we go.
Is my opinion.
There we go. That's our games for May. We did well then. We knew all of them.
We knew some of them.
Yeah. And any other games in May that he's missed out that you're excited about? It's not a huge month for games.
No, it feels a bit quiet. I mean, we mentioned Humanity as well. That's now confirmed for me. But no, I can't think, unless unless we get some more surprise drops. Because I don't know about you, Darren, but I'm still waiting for any news on this Beyond Good and Evil 20th anniversary thing.
Oh, that one. Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's that, isn't there? And there's Splinter Cell, and there's Prince of Persia. I just hope Ubisoft do more. I just hope Ubisoft release more than bloody Assassin's Creed. That's all.
Wow.
Okay. Sorry, Richard. Go on.
Will they'll be announcing their June event soon. So hopefully we'll get some release dates for all of that soon.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Because Star Wars Outlaws, is that August?
Yeah, end of August. And it got
more trailer before then.
Yeah. We're probably having Assassins. That's what my big guess is for that. We'll talk about maybe the Xbox Showcase next week, maybe a little bit more on what we think and what little clues have been there. There's just one more thing before we leave is Resident Evil 9, there's rumours of. It could be released in January. There's been a rumour flying around. We talked about this a little bit, didn't we? Do we think there might be a Resident Evil 9 announcement this year? What's your feelings? What's their cycle?
I think there could be, but I don't know if it'll release as early as January. I don't even know anything about it. So I'd be surprised. I mean, I can see Capcom putting in a little direct when on the graveyard of E3, everyone seems to be keeping to that time slot of June. I can see them announcing it, but I can't see them releasing it in January. I'd be very surprised.
But I think that's what they've done for the past few Resident Evil games. They've not given them, they've not shown them off and then given them like years of build up either. Mm-hmm. It's usually been about 6 months between announcement and release date, and I think that's been really good actually, because they've kept this constant churn going with like having a new mainline entry and then going back to one of the old ones and doing like a remake of that. And I think there's been a Resident Evil game every year for the past few years, but they've all been really, really good as well.
Where would you like to see a Resident Evil game set? Maybe anyone got anything?
Maybe at the back of my house.
Back of your house?
A big a castle with a big woman in it.
We had that one. I like back of.
I'd do that one again though.
Back of Dobby's house. I like that. That'd be a bold move from the developers.
It would be. I mean, you go to Leeds, it's full of zombies anyway. So.
Good. There you go. We've got sensible answers there from the game journalists here.
Ireland. I think Ireland.
Ireland, okay.
Genuinely.
Right.
Ireland
might be an interesting.
As in the Republic?
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of folklore there that I think could be explored in a way that Resident Evil would probably do best.
Yeah, but leprechauns are not that scary, mate.
Have you seen Warwick Davis and Leprechaun?
You've never seen people doing the Otley Run in Leeds. It's not zombies, it's leprechauns.
Oh, I've done the Otley Run. There's some sites. We didn't complete it, but yeah.
Right. There we go. That sums it up. The end of the podcast on that insightful thing. We haven't done. We haven't done Dobbo's confessional. I've just realised, but
let's do that.
No.
We'll save that for next week. Have you got anything, Richard?
I have got quite a few, but I've not got the spreadsheet open.
Okay, well let's do it for next time.
I have got. Yeah, we've got plenty. Don't worry.
Save it for episode 200. Yeah, it'll be like a little celebration.
Yeah, exactly. So what are we looking forward to next week? Before we go, Darren, what are you looking forward
to? So I'm kind of cheating a bit because most of this stuff is probably going to happen next weekend after the next podcast, but it's just work really for the next week. So Doctor Who's back, which I'm looking forward to, and it's Eurovision, and it's going to the video games market all on the same day. So looking forward to those things.
Good. Wow, that's a lot going on. What about you, Paul?
I've recently just got back into keeping tropical fish. So at the weekend, we're going to go and hit the garden centres and see if there's any fish that I want. So I'm looking forward to building up my collection again.
Of all the things, I wouldn't have ever guessed that would be what are you doing this week? But I like it. I like it a lot.
Well, do you know, you know, it's we used to keep fish, me and the wife, it must be 20 years ago now. Did you know, for instance, that, I don't know if there still is, but there used to be fish shows like Crufts, but for fish. Honestly, you put your best fish in little tanks and take them to a village hall somewhere, and they get judged by people on their size and their colour. And we got certificates and we got little rosettes and everything for the fish.
I like
so, yeah, there you go.
You didn't attach them to the fish, did you?
Absolutely, you have to pin them on.
Wow.
If
What
that
was
was a new feature, Paul's fact of the day.
Yeah, I know.
There you go.
Paul's,
Hey, I've
Paul's
got
fishy
all the
fact.
facts to make. Fishy
Paul's
fact.
fishy fact.
Yeah. There we go.
That
I like
name
it.
might
I'll
need
start-
workshopping.
I'll start working on it.
Oh, wow. Okay, good. That's good. What about you, Richard?
I've got a really busy week next week, so we're going to see Tenacious D on Wednesday.
Ooh.
We were going to we're seeing them in Manchester. We were going to go see them in Leeds, but then we realised that was the same day as Eurovision, so we thought we're not doing that. We're not missing Eurovision, even for Tenacious D. So we're seeing them in Manchester, and then the day after it's the Premier League darts that I always go to in Leeds. Friday I'll probably have a lie-in and a day off, and then it's Eurovision on the Saturday, like Darren said.
Wow, there you go. This is brilliant, exciting. I've just been looking forward to the 200th episode, which we'll do next week. God knows when, but we'll do it. We'll fit it in.
You've got the sparkly blazer ready.
I have.
His game
got
show.
that. We might have some surprises. We probably won't, but we might do.
We might have a surprise. Yeah. The surprise would be if Gareth turns up.
If I turn up, that'll be a surprise. So, gentlemen, thank you very much. And right, we'll see you all next week. Bye bye. You've been listening to the official podcast of TheXboxHub.com. You'll be able to find all the notes of this show at www.thexboxhub.com/podcast. You can also check out our social feeds on Instagram and Twitter at The Xbox Hub, and search for The Xbox Hub on Facebook.